We will now be starting the first workshop. Our first workshop is Dare to Learn, Know Basic Neonatal Skills and Get Ready for HOSA SOC. We have two RNs who will facilitate the workshop. Mrs. Betty McPeak, Cal-HOSA SOC Competitive Events Lieutenant, and Mr. June Cuenca, HOSA IOC Competitive Events Lieutenant.
So this workshop will feature two skills of the many skills that you will be learning if you're competing for the two events that we have. So the first one is prophylaxis for eyes of the neonate, which is a part of the clinical nursing skills, one of the many skills that you need to know if you're competing with clinical nursing, and the heel puncture, which is another procedure for our new event we call phlebotomy. So there are many other skills also in the phlebotomy, but we're kind of like introducing that, okay? So I'll begin with the prophylaxis for the eyes of the neonate, and Mrs. McPeak will discuss the heel puncture. So let's move on. So ophthalmia neonatorum. This is a condition this is a type of conjunctivitis or inflammation of the conjunctiva that is seen in neonatal period, occurring in 1 to 12% of neonates. Okay, so they have seen that. And this is associated with maternal gonococcal infection. So there's usually women needs to be tested. Both partners actually need to be tested for sexually transmitted infection during pregnancy, but some of them are undiagnosed, and some of them don't even have prenatal checkup. And so they usually are commonly transferred to the newborn, especially on vaginal delivery, because again of the presence of gonococcal bacteria in the vaginal canal. So this ophthalmia neonatorum, this conjunctivitis, is bad, and we want to prevent this because it correlates with severe complications such as corneal ulceration and perforation, which can potentially result to permanent blindness of the child. So that's the reason why this is now done. And if you can move the slides, due to its significant morbidity, the U.S. Preventive Service Task Force issued guidelines regarding antibiotic use in all newborns to reduce vertical transmission of the disease. So there we have which can occur, this infection can occur up to 50% of the cases when prophylaxis is not given. So, how is the prophylaxis done? We are actually going to administer 0.5 erythromycin ophthalmic antibiotic ointment, and sometimes the doctors will prescribe different types of antibiotic, but we are giving it to the conjunctiva of the neonate, and this is required by California, this is actually required by law under this California Business and Professions Code. And the side effect of this is that the baby's eyes may temporarily appear cloudy, irritated, red, or swollen, and the medication should not be wasted if this happens or cleaned out of the eyes, because this is just an expected side effect. So we just have to make sure that the parents are aware of the possible adverse or side effects of administering this medication. So this is just a sample of the medication, and I will demo later on this side on how it's done, so you can see how we are going to administer this particular medication to the child, to the newborn child.
Is it my turn? Yes. Hello, I'm Mrs. McPeak. And so I'm going to talk about the poor baby's heel puncture. He doesn't cause them pain, I do. So we test 600, babies get diseases that we cannot discover until we test them. Just like you have to have blood drawn for tests, babies have to have that. So we do it right away because many are preventable if we do something about it, if we find out first. So under California law, they test many things. So it started early, before many of you, maybe even your parents were born. So one of the most devastating is called phenylketonuria. And if you start reading labels, you will see it in the oddest things like soda. So, but they cannot process it. It's a type of amino, it's a protein. And the protein isn't processed by their bodies, and so they can become mentally challenged. If we can catch it early, then we can prevent that. We can limit their phenylalanine that they ingest with their protein. So it's done for PKU specifically, it is done after the first milk feeding. So either the breastfeeding or a formula feed, they have to wait until that is done before they test. But that's not the only reason we stick their poor little heels. It also has to do with anemia, thyroid, blood sugar. So there's many tests that those poor little guys have done when they're first born. We're kind of mean to them. So, what else do we have here? So, the program is very important for the parents so that they can adjust things if they need to. And sometimes they're not discovered early. So when you're performing the heel stick, this picture shows you exactly where you're supposed to go on the baby's heel. So if you decide to do this event, pay close attention to the areas that you're prescribed to stick their little heels. It's a better blood flow there. So that's why we want to do it in a specific area. And so I think, are we ready? Yes. Do you want to explain?
Sure. So we will be splitting up the groups for the demo. So we have this table, 1, 2, 3, 4 tables will be on this side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables will be on this side. And then what happens is I will demo the eye prophylaxis, Mrs. McPeak will demo the heel puncture, and then we will switch. So this is just a 5 demo, and then we will debrief. So if you can come closer to this table so that we can demo it for you. All right? All right. Say hello to our baby. So this is baby girl. Okay. So that's her name. And so if you look at this is basically medication. With your medication administration.
Should I?
So you need
Or should I
Go over there to get the them showing the tag.
Okay. I'm going.
Was that
Box 7 right now. It's using box.
So it tells you step by step exactly what they're going to be looking for so that you don't skip steps. I may, because I haven't practiced. You have to practice before you go, okay?
Right
So,
medication.
the first thing we have to do is check our order, and this is called a requisition. And the requisition is either in the computer these days, or it's a handwritten requisition. So it's going to have the lab tests that the physician or provider is asking for. So you're going to check the requisition. I lost my birth certificate, the baby related the birth certificate. So you would check, they usually have a band on their leg for ID, so you have to compare to make sure you have the right baby. You've heard those stories about the babies that are given to the wrong parents. So those are things that you do. Then you're going to explain if the parents happen to be there. It's usually done outside the mother's room, so it's done in the nursery. So you would explain to them that their baby may come back to them with some bruised heels. All right, so we're going to explain to them what might happen to their baby. They may hear them cry if they're close enough to the nursery. And so we're going to unwrap poor baby, and hopefully they're comfortable. You're cute. Oh, see, he does have a little ID on. Okay, so this is, remember that picture that we showed you, the little there? So this is the part that on a mannequin is a little difficult. So I'm going to identify the baby, I did, told the parents, washed my hands, hand sanitizer or wash your hands, put your gloves on.
Okay.
Okay,
So
and then we're going to clean the area.
You have to
Poor
fold
little baby,
the
I'm sorry.
eyelid.
And hopefully it doesn't roll off the table. And I have some alcohol swabs here. So we're going to open the alcohol swabs. Okay, this is going to be cold, baby. Now, this is the part when I don't want to stand him on his head. Babies are more flexible. So you have to grab their heel. This is the way they want you to grab their heel, okay? So you clean their little heel and then you have to let it dry. Okay, so you clean the heel really well. Now the mannequin's not going to dry. Okay, it takes like hours for them to dry. So, and if the baby's heel doesn't look like it has enough blood, we would have put a little warming device on there. If I touch it after the alcohol is on there, then I need to re-wipe it. I'm going to get a clean one, but okay, we'll pretend I'll open the new one. Right? Okay. And
Questions? For this specific one, not necessarily for the competition. Okay? If you want to see how it's done, you can go ahead and inspect that. Okay.
And I'll leave them in the packages, but they actually, and I'll pass this around for you, and you'll look, they're different
Okay.
cuts. And on this
Very good.
particular,
It's doable, right? Okay, so we swaddle the baby, always keep them. Okay.
is this gonna go?
All right.
So look at the depth, it's in millimeters. And so I'm gonna use one of those devices, and I'm not gonna stick.
So you won't be changing positions because we will be, so that it's less movement. So we will be doing that.
And I'm sure that at our conference, you have a mannequin also not a real baby. So you're going to stick the heel, this particular one, and I would use one of those because they're specific. They give a little bit bigger size than these. These are the ones that diabetic. So then you're going to stick the heel, right? Oh,
All right. So I'll be moving to the other side, and then take care of my baby. All right. All right. So never leave the baby alone. It's my fault.
have to grab, do it in the order of the draw, so there's color.
All right.
She's watching.
She's watching? Wait, I want to be on the wall too. Oh my god. Wait, number 3.
I did not watch it. She's like, don't look at me. What? Thank you. I'm so mad this one doesn't work. Oh, are we supposed to get so? Are we supposed to change ours? Like we're getting different things because we're different things. How do we organize it?
I left at 7:30.
Yeah.
I was gonna leave at 7:30.
Should they take these all?
I probably should.
No, this one.
I left at 7. How did we get here at the same time? What? Ice cream bar? Oh.
I'm sorry.
Did I put it back in the corner?
Wow.
Okay, so
When you're giving medication to a patient, I is a medication, so because you need to have a doctor.
this happens to be one of here. And so I'm trying to see your page.
So the doctor's order says 0.5% erythromycin on both eyes immediately after birth.
And identify my baby.
Only as prophylaxis for Dr. Hodges is the doctor.
has been resolved.
Procedure is to shut for
Good.
medication. And what
I
are
love the
those?
help desk.
The fibroids. Right. Patient. Right. Drug. Right dose. Right time. And right route. Right route. So a route is a path, right? So that's what you want to do. You check that identifies the baby at least 2 times. So I'll check it on my MAR. I'll check it on my baby's what do you call this, wristband or something that has here in the foot as well. Correct? So I have the right safety. The baby. I should have washed my hands and worn my gloves. First time. So sometimes it might have a little bit of
So I checked my orders and
so how much
That's right.
if you forget a step and you remember next time.
that side where you use the other side and then inner. Okay. Ready to give the medication. This is the right medication and I have the right
It's like
baby.
that. It's
So
like that.
what I'm going to do
It's like that's what
is
I'm
I'm going to
This way.
Yes.
expose the conjunctiva from the whole island and then basically give the medication from inner to outer. Okay, after I give the medication.
If I need to warm it, if it didn't look like it.
Okay, I'm gonna grab my stuff.
I'm telling you the medication from inner to outer.
So what is those things? If you forget.
Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
So sometimes
Yeah.
when you're doing a procedure like this,
I wasn't gonna ask you.
Oh, no
There's
worries.
various tools.
you have to come in anyway.
Okay, good.
So they stick at different depths. And for this particular,
That's breastfeeding preferences.
so they're two different depths.
Or feed.
Go ahead and just mess around and see what depth it does. And so you have to know how much blood you need.
So after
So
I've
it's
done
gonna
that,
stick them a little more or a
I
little
will
less.
start with
So, and the various, you have to do it in the order of the draw. You can pull this up online anywhere so you can learn the order of the draw. Because the questions are color coded.
You're good? That's it. So you can go ahead and look at
Different
our
colors. And so, I'm
chart
gonna
here and how the
picking for baby.
doctor's order.
Yeah.
This is the medication restriction.
And I'm gonna watch the first drop, and then we're gonna collect our specimen.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Great. You're a good
Of
believer.
course. Your gloves?
This is a PKU card. On a PKU card, you see all those circles, you have to get blood to fill all those circles. Okay, so the one that causes mental challenges. Oh, I forgot to document. And that, you don't really document, it's already on computers, you know, not anymore. Okay, so I make sure that the baby's heel isn't bleeding after I've collected my specimen. And I'll put the baby over here and wrap him up, or her, whatever. Make sure my specimens are labeled before I go anywhere.
Same, basically what they did is they have the same list plus. This one's a totally new guy.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
So we will be doing a debrief of this, and we would like to take opportunity also if you have questions for this particular event. Our workshop should finish around 9:40, right? I can't memorize the time. But anyway, let's look at the competitive events for California HOSA and SLC. So first is clinical nursing. So clinical nursing has been an event that we have been doing for years. In fact, we have last year's gold medal winner here for SLC. Last year's silver medal winner is here. And the bronze medal is not here, so he's out of the game. We will need volunteers for that. Anyway, so it consists of 2 rounds. Just like phlebotomy, all skills event consists of 2 rounds. The first time is always going to be a test, like a multiple choice test, and then the second time is going to be a round 2 skills demonstration, if you qualify for round 1. So let's look at the next slide, please. For phlebotomy, it's exactly the same. Okay, it's exactly the same. And if you want a copy of this slide, we will make it available to your advisor so that you can look at this, so you can click the links. And then if you look at the next slide, please. So this is our competitive event timeline, which I think is very important for you to know. Because some people, they get naturally eliminated because they don't submit or follow the guidelines, right? First things first is you always want to check the guideline, right? So the guideline is made for International Leadership Conference, okay? Cal-HOSA uses the guideline but tweaks it to make it applicable for Cal-HOSA competition, SLC competition. So you have to look at that. So first thing you have to do is in Cal-HOSA, we have regional competitive event, right? And in particular, we have an online testing, which is actually earlier this year. We used to have it in February. Look at the date now. It's January. So by December, you should be getting ready. All right? All right? Are we clear on this? So the online testing is done where? In your schools with a proctor, right? So it's done on this week, right? That's the open testing week for you guys. So you have to be ready, okay? Then if you qualify, you will know the results. Your advisor will know the results on the 9th of February. Okay, so you made it through RCE. RCE is only testing, online testing. All right? Again, it's important for you to know this because in your guidelines, it will say the test is pencil and scantron. That's in ILC. In SLC, we have a different standards. Okay? So the test, online testing, will be in around March. This is your round 1 online testing. And after your online testing, if you qualify, it will be posted whether you made it to round 2, and then your competition is usually done on a Saturday. And guess where will the competition be held for this? In Anaheim. Where in Anaheim? Not in the convention center for the skills events this year. We have Trident facility at North Orange County ROP. That's where all skills will be. Not all. how many, 6 maybe? Phlebotomy will be there, clinical nursing will be there, medical assisting will be there, clinical, what do you call this, nurse assisting will be there, medical assisting will be there, dental assisting will be there. We will shuttle from the convention center down for your competition. Right, you're at a home court advantage. Right, so that will be a competition. So, all right, which is good because we now have beds, we now have the challenge. All right, so any questions you have? Okay, do you have any questions? The skills demo for this, I'm not sure, I think it's 7 or 8 for clinical nursing. It's probably around that much also for phlebotomy, right? And you are familiar with medical assisting. If you have competed last year, please read the guidelines this year. Like I'm telling you, in clinical nursing, they've added this eye prophylaxis. They added it. Okay? For phlebotomy, it's a totally new event. So sometimes they add a skill event, sometimes they remove a competitive event. So always read your guidelines. Mrs. McPeak, do you have anything more to say?
Oh, I have lots of stuff, but
Yeah.
I was going to say, if they would like to look at just a couple sets of guidelines, we have clinical nursing and then we have the phlebotomy. It may not be your guidelines, but at least you can see how they work. Okay, you can see it tells you what's on kind of the percentage of things that are on the test, and so you can take a look at them and you'll know what you're looking for. And where are you going to look for them? I'm loud enough.
So, Cal-HOSA website, I think the Cal-HOSA website, they will start posting RCE and SLC immediately after FLC, probably tomorrow or the day after. The guidelines are already there in the International HOSA website, right? But Cal-HOSA will tell you all of these specifics, and some of these things might change, like the testing dates might change a little bit, or might be pushed a little bit, but whatever it is, always refer to the guidelines at Cal-HOSA. Always check those 2 websites, the Cal-HOSA website and the HOSA International website. And if you have questions, let your advisors talk to your advisors. Let your advisors talk to me. I'll help them. Okay? It always makes me feel good when no crop is being called on the stage, right?
It's crucial that when you pull guidelines for state that you get it off Cal-HOSA's website because the deadlines are different. Okay, so if you have something you have to upload, it's not going to be the same as ILC. And the other thing is, if you have something that you do need to upload, it's a new system this time, and I think they're going to talk about it maybe, but the new system, you can, once you've uploaded and if you progress to ILC, you can do it again. And between RCE and SLC, you can make it better and upload it again. You don't have to stick with your original presentation or...
Let me just clarify what you did. So there are certain events that require an upload. Let me give you an example for those events. Career display.
Yeah.
Okay?
Video this year.
Yeah. So please read that. And then career display. What else are...
Health ed, maybe.
Health ed, community awareness, those things, they need to be an upload. So we're no longer using Tallow. We're no longer using Tallow. HOSA has its own. So we will be uploading it to the HOSA Upload Center. Okay, the same process of uploading, but some of them, like for example, the display is going to be a video, not a photo, because the problem with photo, it's still, and you cannot really, some pictures are really poorly taken that the judges cannot even read what's in your poster. So if I can't read what you have placed in your poster, then I will just grade you low, right? So that would not be fair for the poster makers, right? So that will be for that. Another thing, you remembered ATC testing last year? This is for high school only though. The ATC testing, the biochemistry, the anatomy and physiology, those competitions, the online testing, we call it in our school we call it the brown event because they're color coded and they're coded brown there. So those tests are going to be live. It will be Scantron and pencil in SLC. So those are the only live testing in SLC. So yeah, that will be exciting, right? So any more questions? We're good? So we are, if you have questions, just let me know if you have questions later on. But we are now down to our next intermission. Okay, and please don't forget to visit our Air Force and Army booth there. Okay.
Okay, hi again. So now we are going to be passing out Post-it notes. So on the Post-it notes, you guys will be writing notes and words of affirmation as we are daring to hope. And after, could you guys stick it on the wall that's like right there next to table 3? And then that's where you guys will stick your notes once you guys are done. And if you guys finish early, please check out the Air Force and the Army booths that are right out over there. Thank you.